Eco-flow is this idea of engaging in flow experiences, and in return, you get so much fulfillment that you don't need materialism to make you happy, right? And so you move towards an ecological way of viewing the world. Hi, my name is Jin Young Lim. I'm a Malaysian writer. I'm also a PhD student at UC Santa Barbara, and I recently finished writing and published this book called The Dao of Flow, a journey to discover the ancient wisdom of water. I first became interested in Taoism when I started learning about Tai Chi Chuan, and I was studying with a teacher first in Malaysia and then in Taiwan, and I've come to realize that and learn that Tai Chi Chuan is kind of an embodiment of the principles of Taoism, and you don't learn about it in an abstract way, but kind of it's in your body, close to your bones, and it has to be something that is flowed and applied to your day-to-day life. Kind of people who would want to read this book are, for instance, young people who are in search of purpose in life. They are thinking of maybe studying abroad, but they aren't sure where to go, what to study. I hope to provide my own journey as a reference, not as a model, but as a reference that people can maybe pick whatever they felt was useful from my stories that I tell. I hope it could also be helpful to people who are interested in Eastern philosophy and wants to apply it in their own lives. Something that I wrote in my book is Tai Chi Chuan is something that you can practice physically, study intellectually, and apply spiritually to your life. So some of the examples of how Tai Chi Chuan can be practiced physically is the idea of song, or embodiment of water, which I wrote in the book. For example, when you go around your day-to-day life, a lot of people have tense shoulders. So if you practice Tai Chi Chuan, you're always reminded to lower down the shoulders and to not use brute force when moving your body. So you want to move from the core, from the dantian. I divided my book into 4 components based on the Chinese idiomatic expression Xing Yun Liu Shui, which means drifting clouds and moving water. Anyone who wants to move more naturally, like clouds and waters, in their own lives, I hope they can gain some inspiration from it. And from these 4 components, I further divide into the first part, which is more way-making, more of elaborating on the Tao and the lessons that I derive from my own Tai Chi Chuan practice. The second component, after sort of laying out the Taoist philosophy, I talked about my own personal journey. I bring readers on an odyssey from, as a Malaysian, going to Japan for the first time in high school to volunteer, and then falling in love with the country and moving from Japan to China and starting a nonprofit in the Himalayas. And along the way, I talk about how, different mentors and Taoist ways of being and becoming influenced my own life. And then the third part is all about nature flowing, liu, right, in Japanese. So the third part, I focus mostly on how organic farming come into the picture, how indigenous communities have been practicing Taoist ways of being without even knowing it. In the last component, which is shui, which is water, I lay out 3 incredible individuals, a conservationist in China, an artist, and a physician who's been doing humanitarian work in Afghanistan, to sort of provide role models for people to look at how they can apply it to their own field. We need a renaissance of people constantly engaging in flow activities so that they can move towards an ecological way of viewing the world.
Okay. Buy this book.
And buy this book too.
And that book, but especially this book. Buy both of these books. Buy all the books. All right. All right. Oh, I should give you. No, this is mine. All right.